Good afternoon. I am Anthony Sferitis.
I'm Morgan Carr, and this is the voice of Duquesne Live. Now in sports. The women's lacrosse team dropped in conference to Rhode Island this past Saturday at Rooney Field. The Rams pulled away late to get a 15-8 win. The Dukes initially battled back from an early deficit using a 5-0 scoring run to tie the game at 6 right after halftime. With the loss, Duquesne is now 1-9 and 0-5 in conference play. The Dukes were led offensively by Emma Rains, who recorded her team-leading 7th hat-trick of the season. Rains finished the day with 4 total points, while Grayson Emerson continued her record-setting year. Emerson added 2 assists and a goal, pushing her NCAA D1 leading total to 49 assists this season. Defensively, Duquesne set a new season high by forcing 17 turnovers. Chelsea Evans set a career-high 6 caused turnovers and 5 ground balls, while goalkeeper Ella Roach turned in 11 saves. Rhode Island closed out the game by scoring 9 of the final 11 goals. The Dukes will travel to VCU for a game at 1 p.m. on Saturday. You can watch it on ESPN+.
This past weekend, the Duquesne track and field teams had 8 event victories at the Carnegie Mellon Invitational at Gessling Stadium. Freshman Melanie Schmidt earned her first collegiate victories after posting 2 wins in the 200 and 400 meter races. The freshman also ran the opening leg of the 4x100 meter relay with the team of Rose Kuchera, Isabella Costa, and Selma Badjorgoric, and placed second in the event. Sylvia Kashik and Jack Barnheisel swept the men's and women's 3,000 meter races, while Laura Stroka and Spencer Eady also swept titles in the triple jump. Cole McGrody and Anna Rohr helped complete the sweep by each winning gold in the 400-meter hurdles. On Friday, Nadia Konstantakis cleared 3.86 meters in pole vault, breaking her own program record, finishing second in the event. Besides the first-place sweeps, the women's track and field team placed 22 other times during this meet, while the men's team placed 18 times. The Dukes will travel to Fairfax, Virginia this weekend for the Dalton Ebanks Invitational at George Mason.
On Sunday afternoon, the men's tennis team dropped a 4-0 decision to A10 opponent Dayton, bringing them to 6-8 overall and 1-1 in conference action. The doubles action, the team of Enrique Lana and Ariel Caratuna were in a tight battle at the top spot, but losses from the number 2 and number 3 spots helped Dayton pick up an early lead. In singles, the Flyers swept the matches despite well-fought battles from the Duke. Duquesne will travel to Olin, New York to take on A10 opponent St. Bonaventure on Saturday.
The number 9 Duquesne acrobatics and tumbling team traveled to face top-ranked Baylor this past Saturday. The Dukes set several season highs despite the 278-255 loss. The team scored 85.58 in the team event, their second best all season. The Dukes dominated the pyramid event, posting a 29.15 out of 30. The unit delivered a meet-high 9.85 in the inversion pyramid for the 4th straight meet. They also found success in the acro event, highlighted by a 9.75 in the 5-element heat. Duquesne set a program best in the quad pass. 3 different athletes posted scores of 9.0 or higher in their individual passes, including a 9.35 from Briella Unger. Now, the Dukes return home to host LaSalle for Senior Day at the UPMC Cooper Fieldhouse. That meet is scheduled for April 9th at 6 p.m. The game will be available on ESPN+.
The Duquesne women's golf team wrapped up their regular season this Tuesday in Bermuda, with the team finishing 6th out of 11 programs. They posted a 3-round total of 965, finishing ahead of host Lehigh and several others. The Dukes were led by sophomore Sasha Petrocco, who turned in a consistent performance over the 54 holes. Petrocco carded a 239 to finish in a tie for 21st place, recording a team-high 26 pars along the way. She led the team in scoring average on par 5s. Other key contributors included sophomore Abby Slangster, who surged on the final day with a clutch round of 73. Slangster finished tied for 42 alongside senior Lindsay Pawanda. Freshman Lily Powell also made the top 40. Now the Dukes look towards the postseason and the Atlantic 10 Championship. The tournament is set to begin on Monday, April 20th in Orlando. This will be the golf program's second appearance in its history.
Now, let's head over to Donovan Shanley with this week's weather.
Thanks, guys. Now for our weather. So for Easter break, we're definitely going to be enjoying the days. It's going to be really warm out. So first off, on Friday, we got ourselves a 50% chance of rain, but a high of 77, a low of 63. On Saturday, we got a 65% chance of rain, but it's going all the way up to 80, and a low of 60 over there. And on Sunday, Easter Sunday, it'll be a 80% chance of rain with a high of 65, a low of 39. So cooling down over the next few days. And then on Monday, we got ourselves a high of 50, a low of 35. On Tuesday, we got a high of 43 and a low of 31. And on Wednesday, we got ourselves a high of 48, a low of 27. But it is going to be warmer. On Thursday, it'll warm up to be a high of 64 and a low of 36. Now on our way to our Rome campus, of course, they're always enjoying the hot Mediterranean sun, and this week is definitely no exception. I'm getting kind of jealous looking at this, but it is on Easter break starting on Friday. It'll be a high of 67 and a low of 59. On Saturday, it'll be a high of 72 and a low of 46. And then on Sunday, it'll be a high of 72 and a low of 45. And then on Monday, it'll be a high of 75 and a low of 48. Going back into the school days, it'll be a high of 73 and a low of 51 on Tuesday. It'll be a high of 73, a low of 49 on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, it'll be a high of 71, low of 51. Clear skies, of course, making me jealous of those students living on campus. But I'm sure the students that are more jealous of that campus are the students that are Dublin campus, because it is, as usual, pouring down rain. It'll be 75% chance of rain on Friday with a high of 53, a low of 42. On Saturday, it'll be a 65% chance of rain, high of 57 and a low of 41. And then on Sunday, it'll be a 45% chance of rain, high of 49 and a low of 40. And then on Monday, it'll be clear up for the day, but it will be kind of windy. It'll be a high of 55, a low of 40. And then on Tuesday, it'll start raining again. As per usual, it'll be a 60% chance of rain with a high of 53, a low of 46. Then on Wednesday, it'll be a 45% chance of rain with a high of 53 and a low of 42. And then finally on Thursday, it will clear up for a high of 52 and a low of 41. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Donovan. Last week, the UPMC Cooper Fieldhouse and Duquesne University hosted the Division II Men's and Women's Basketball Elite Eight and Final Four, along with the Women's National Championship. Semi-local teams like Gannon and IUP drew big crowds, while schools like Oklahoma Baptist and Grand Valley brought a different style of basketball. The tournament also provided the unique experience for students working with Duquesne Athletic Productions to work alongside professionals on the in-house video board production. Two of the students working at the tournament were senior Bryce Putnam and junior Jake Koziel. Koziel said, "It was great to work as a student because I was working with so many people that were experienced in jobs or positions that I'm interested in." Some of the tasks the students participated in were directing, camera operating, instant replay, show control, and much more. Putnam added, "Being able to work a national tournament in any regard is really cool, but having it in our backyard right on campus is just a dream setup as a student." Grand Valley State would go on to win the Women's National Championship, and Gannon and Lander advanced to the Men's National Championship.
The 3v3 Moonball basketball tournament run by Gamma Phi Beta with fundraising going to Girls on the Run was a philanthropy event aided to help young girls go through a training program and training regimen for them to eventually run a 5K. Tons of teams suited up to play for such a great cause as the third floor of the Power Center was rented out. As junior Austin Hansen said, "Definitely cool to come out here and play some basketball, especially playing for a good cause. The orientation team had a lot of fun playing for a good cause, creating memories, goes beyond just what the scoreboard says, because even though it is a basketball tournament, it is much more than just that." Their turnout for this event was satisfying for the organization running it. Reese Scholar, president of Gamma Phi Beta, says this event, being women-focused, brings back memories for her. "Coming from a very women-focused family growing up is what I think about with this event, because it shows women can do just as much as a man can. scholar also talked about the planning on what went into making this event happen. Quote, I had our philanthropy's vice president talk with their own chairs on what to focus on first. Then we got our president, our public relations VP, and philanthropy chair to rent out the Power Center. The event featured over 10 teams for both girls and guys organizations with sororities, fraternities, and other student-led organizations participating. The increased number of people made for tons of action. Our turnout this year has been super high, and it means so much to me to truly be able to raise money for this event, said Scholar.
Earlier this week, Voice of Duquesne Live reporter Tanner Ma participated in a Zoom panel involving a handful of Duquesne alumni working behind the scenes as sports media professionals. Students who participated learned about the fundamentals of starting a career in media, public relations, and sales in the ecosystem of sports.
On Monday, March 30th at 4:30, Duquesne University hosted a virtual panel designed specifically for students looking to break into the highly competitive professional sports industry. Hosted by the Center for Career Development, along with sports marketing professor Dr. Ron Dick and sports media professor Bob Healy, the event drew over 70 student attendees. The goal of the panel was to give students first-hand knowledge of how successful careers unfold, the vital lessons learned along the way, and what it truly takes to thrive in this exciting field. The event featured a powerhouse lineup of 5 Duquesne alum currently working across the major leagues. Joe Guzzi, Director of Photography for FC Cincinnati in Major League Soccer, Grace Heidinger, Social Media Coordinator for the NFL's Buffalo Bills, Luke Henney, Manager of Baseball Communications for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and Ryan Hemsley, Development and Fundraising for the Philadelphia Flyers charities. Throughout this 60-minute session, students gained invaluable behind-the-scenes insights into the day-to-day grind of sports media, public relations, and sales. The participants learned that there is no single right way to enter the industry. The panelists stressed the importance of building a tangible portfolio of work throughout campus organizations, the necessities of networking, the willingness to relocate for jobs, and the reality that your first role might not be your dream job, but it will be a crucial stepping stone. The panelists were generous when offering advice to help students advance their own careers and education.
Joe, if a student who's like on this call, for example, decides to pursue a career similar to the ones of the 5 people we're speaking to today have, what advice would you give them as they're sitting there in the classroom today? Anything that you know now that you wish you knew then?
Regardless of how you see other people kind of attacking this path and everything, there is no right path. There's no right way to do this. It's such a crazy world, and I think everyone has bounced back and forth on this call to many different places, and you just kind of have to take the opportunity that's in front of you. Like, I again went to Pittsburgh thinking I was going to be a sports writer and work for the Penguins, and that was just going to happen. And from the moment I got there, I realized that that was going to be a path that had different roadblocks around it. So I decided to take just the path of least resistance that was in front of me, that had opportunities for me to do things. And somehow I've gotten to do some really cool things and do some just things I never would have thought I would have.
I would say mine's on the more cliche side, but don't give up. I know sports is a tough industry to get into and kind of pave your way to the top or wherever you want to end up. But there's, nothing stopping you except yourself. So really just keep applying to any and every opportunity that comes your way. Because like I said earlier, you never know where it will take you, especially if it is your dream job, like I think a lot of us can attest to.
Take advantage of every opportunity that you have on campus while you're there. It's very important to succeed in the classroom, don't get me wrong, but you need to take those next steps and join extracurriculars, whether that's the Duke, whether that's the Sports Marketing Association, whether that's Duquesne Student Television. In the real world, people want to see that you can succeed in the classroom. Those grades, those in-class projects are very important. However, they want to see that you're able to succeed outside the classroom. So those relationships, they might not seem like much on the surface, but they carry a lot of weight. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there. But again, like I've said, who you know can only carry you so far. You also have to be very capable on your own and getting yourself to where you want to get to.
I know sales is what everyone wants to avoid when trying to work in sports, but don't count it out. Especially if you like to talk. Like it's a pretty fun job.
But I always tell people whether they come through as an intern or if they reach out as a student or anything like that, like do the little things and don't be afraid to send an email, send a message. I'm someone that's always checking my emails, and I love when I get an email come in from someone that's not inside the organization or is going through some type of development, whether they're in school or in an internship or something like that. Connect with a professor or an admin, find a way to reach out to an organization, especially as you go through your junior year and you're applying for internships, or you're going through your senior year and you're applying for full-time jobs. Like find a way to stand out in the crowd. Find a way to get your name seen.
If there's one major takeaway from Monday's panel, it's that working in sports isn't just about being a fan. It's about being an adaptable, hardworking professional. Whether these alumni were overcoming their fear of working in sales, crossing rivalry lines to work for opposing teams, or putting in long hours on evenings and weekends, they all shared a common foundation. They said yes to the opportunities. For the students watching that day, the message was clear. Get involved on campus. Don't be afraid to reach out and build your network, and when that door finally opens, let your talent and work ethic carry you the rest of the way. From Voice of Duquesne Live, I'm Tanner Maw.
Thanks, Tanner. Last Thursday, March 26th, the comedian Morgan Jay hosted a show at the Benedum Center. Jay combines comedy sketches as well as songs with auto-tune providing a fun and catchy experience. Jay first became popular on the app TikTok, where one of his sketches went viral. Since then, he has been performing at bigger venues with sold-out shows. When Jay's set was ready to start, he was sitting in a section all the way in the back of the venue. He then ran around until he finally made it to the stage, where he pretty much stayed for the remainder of the show. Jay likes to do a lot of crowd work at his shows, and even brought up a couple on stage with him to help him do a sketch. All in all, it was said to be a great experience. Student Ava Sepp said, quote, "I've been looking forward to this show for a while. It was just as fun as I had imagined it would be." If you would like to check out Jay's work, you should look him up on Instagram or TikTok.
Now, let's head to our pop culture segment to keep you in the know.
Hi, I'm Halen, and this is Pop Culture Recap. Obviously, I am by myself. Kylie is nowhere to be found because she decided to go home early like a loser. So it's just me for this week. And today, I was kind of going back and forth between a few ideas of what I wanted to talk about, but ultimately I think I'm going to talk about Euphoria since the new season's coming out. Obviously, you know, last time, at least for me, last time when Euphoria came out and we had Euphoria Sundays, I was a freshman in high school. So the fact that it's like I was a freshman in high school and now I'm going to be a freshman in college when the new season comes out is kind of crazy. There's been a lot of different opinions on how people feel about a new season in general. There's a couple main characters that aren't going to be there due to, one, some of them sadly passing away prior to the filming of this new season, and two, people just not being involved within the show anymore. So yeah, but honestly, I was kind of skeptical, like a lot of people at first, but then the new trailer actually came out, I believe it was yesterday, and it actually looked really good. It seemed pretty interesting. I was kind of curious as well as everybody else. Everybody was obviously curious about what was going to happen with Rue and the suitcase. So obviously we don't know for sure what happens, and it's still up in the air of what will occur. But, you know, I think with the trailer coming out, I've seen a lot of people shift from being kind of not uneasy, but just like put off by the new season, just because they're like, well, what could you possibly do? Like, what could you possibly add to this last one? to people shifting towards actually being interested and wanting to watch and being more excited due to how good the trailer depicted this new season. So I do believe it's going to start sometime. I don't think it's next week. I believe it's the week after. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. I think it might be April 12th. I could be wrong. But if you want to know more, obviously go on Euphoria's Instagram page. It'll have everything on there. But a new episode will release every Sunday. So, yeah. It's pretty much all I have since my co-host decided to not show up. So, yep. And that was Pop Culture Recap. Back to you guys.
The final event of Greek Week happened last Thursday night in the Union Ballroom. Greek Sing gathered all the sororities and fraternities to compete in a performance of dancing, singing, and all-out energy to win the coveted Greek Sing Cup. The Greek Life office aided in keeping up the fun as they provided drinks and snacks for all who attended. Extra points were awarded for the groups that had the most energy, participation, and support from their fellow brothers and sisters. Alpha Phi Delta and Zeta Tau Alpha sang their way to a first-place win in the competition. The winner of Greek Week will be announced at the SOSO Awards on April 13th. The top 3 teams have been invited to attend.
On Monday, the Mary Papert School of Music hosted the Piano Masterclass, an event where students performed piano pieces in the PNC Recital Hall. The students were assisted by Yi-Ha Chu, a renowned pianist who previously taught at Duquesne. After the performances by the students, Chu gave short lectures on how to improve piano playing, mentioning advice about dynamics, hand movement, time signatures, and more. Yi-Ha Chu is a Hong Kong-born pianist who has done solo work in many different classical orchestras, such as the London Philharmonic Orchestra and the Vienna Symphony Orchestra, and taught at Duquesne in the 1980s. Her style of playing has been described as, quote, sincere and genuine musicianship by the Japan Times. If you are interested in more concerts like these, make sure to check out Campus Link for more information on future events.
The 3rd annual dance showcase with the Duquesne dance team and the Duquesne club dance team happened this past Sunday. Our Kylie Crocus has more with this event.
Hi, I'm Kylie, and so this past Sunday on March 29th, the Duquesne dance team collaborated with the Duquesne club dance team to host their 3rd annual dance showcase, so let's go check it out. So this showcase just had so much to offer. A lot of what the Duquettes did were their game day performances that they'll do at halftime at a football game or at basketball games or on the sidelines. They're all really great dances to get the crowd's energy up or the audience's energy up and just allowing everyone to have a fun time. And the club dance team had a whole bunch of different styles. This one right here is very technical, Bob Fosse jazz with lots of different little sassy movements, but it was lots of fun and really entertaining to watch. We also saw a lot of fun classic songs from the Duquettes. This is their routine to Baby I'm a Star by Prince. Gotta love a good classic, great song, lots of energy, and so much fun.
Hi, my name is Marta. I'm part of the club dance team here at Duquesne. I joined because I danced in high school and I really enjoyed it, so now I wanted to do it in college. So I met a few of my friends there, and with those friends, I joined our showcase that happened this Sunday. It was really nice to see everyone's hard work be put into one big showcase with the Duquettes. It was nice to see the Duquettes also dance their national dance that they're going soon in April. And I just really enjoyed the whole weekend with the club dance team because we're just one big happy family.
So if you're anything like Marta and you danced in the past and you're starting to miss it, check out the Duquesne Club Dance team. They have something for everybody. They have contemporary, they have hip-hop if you're looking for something more upbeat and exciting. Even for the tappers out there, they do have a tap dance, which is really upbeat and fun, lots of high energy, and just overall a great time, so check it out. And of course, the Duquettes had their high energy game day routines. You can tell they really know just how to get a crowd excited.
Hi, my name is Madison Breton, and I'm a freshman on the club team. I choreographed Drops of Jupiter with Ellie and Caitlin, and to say the least, it was a rushed process, but in the end, it all came out, and it was pretty good.
Here is the so-called rush choreography in question, and she's right, it did come out pretty good. So this showcase is really great opportunity for people who are looking to get into choreographing and see what they can do. There really was just a roller coaster of emotions and energy throughout the entire showcase. The Duquettes came back again with another high energy palm routine, bringing up the spirits. Even if they were right after a sad dance, they didn't let that bring them down. They brought the energy right back up. And then, even if it dipped right back down with the club team giving us all the feels with a fun classic song, Somebody to Love by Queen. Who cannot get emotional with all of these senior moments? Oh my gosh, this is so sad. Look at them hugging. It's their last showcase together because they're graduating. Here's the dance. They had just all the seniors dancing. And at the very end of the showcase, everybody stood together. There's so many people involved in this awesome showcase, and thanked everybody for coming. And there was just so much effort into this whole performance. That was truly an inspiring event. There was so much talent, so much fun. There were some fun pieces, some sadder pieces, but in the end, they really just showed everybody's love for dancing. So we wish the Duquettes good luck at Nationals coming up. And this is Kylie from the Voice of Duquesne Live signing off. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Kylie. Now for Provost Dossie's academic insights. Here are some upcoming events at Gumberg Library. Really free market. Share and take items freely at this community gift economy event. Bring gently used goods, crafts, games, or skills to share. Register to participate and tell us what you plan to contribute items, supplies, crafts, games, or skills. It will be held on April 16th from 4 to 6 p.m. on Gumberg's 4th floor. Social Justice Reading Club. Spring discussion. Join them to discuss The Service Berry by Robin Wall Kimmer and explore themes of reciprocity, sustainability, and community. Light refreshments will be provided. Free book for registered participants while supplies last. It will be held on April 17th from 1 to 2 p.m. in Gumberg's popular reading room. Light and polarized times. Confronting anti-Semitism through the liberal arts. In a time of rising anti-Semitism, this interdisciplinary panel explores how education, interfaith dialogue, and the arts can help address and counter anti-Semitism. It will be held on April 9th from 4:30 to 6 p.m. in Gumberg's 5th floor flex space.
Our Morgan Carr had the opportunity to sit down with Bill Zilkowski, who is the Senior Director of Facility Services and Operations, to dive into what it really takes to keep Duquesne the place we know and love.
Thanks, guys. Now, today I'm here talking to Bill Zilkowski, the Senior Director of Facility Services and Operations. Thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you. Yeah.
So,
Happy to be here.
I mean, obviously, right now we're on camera. Do you normally prefer to be behind the scenes, or are you kind of okay just being in the front?
I guess both areas. I'm out on campus a lot, so being out front or in the back is suitable. It's just kind of, I'm frequently on the move, so I find myself in both locations from time to time, so equally comfortable.
Yeah. And I know you have a lot going on campus, do a lot of responsibilities, and that kind of consists of safety all the way to just kind of like keeping the campus nice and clean.
Right.
So exactly what are your priorities in regards to the campus itself?
Well, from a safety standpoint, we follow the leadership of public safety and environmental health and safety in those departments. So we're a support arm of them. So we work closely with them. But just from a small facility standpoint to prioritize, I would say like campus movement, right? So we do streets and sidewalks. So you're going anywhere as we can kind of see out onto the field and academic walk. It's keeping those spaces safe and clean and, passable. Also, our mechanical systems, specifically elevators, right? So every building has an elevator, so you're going up and down. So those, those transport areas need to be, safe and clean as well. As far as any other safety on a kind of a flip edge would be our waste management business, where we are removing trash and other debris constantly from campus to keep it safe, on any kind of level from that standpoint. Yeah.
Yeah, and are there, obviously these are your day-to-day operations, are there any like special operations that you have, whether that comes with athletic games or anything like that?
I mean, I guess we wouldn't call it special, it's just normal. So we manage out, football and soccer in the fall. Obviously, the basketball programming in the winter season is our main event, but we also, have other events like the tumbling team that just came on. And the spring is highlighted with women's lacrosse. So we do all that, but that's just a normal feature of our operation as much as it is cleaning the student union where we're sitting here today. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So there are various groups within facilities management.
Yes.
So exactly what specific group are you responsible for?
Okay, well, let me think how I best answer. So facilities manager is a large group. We have an operations side and a design and construction side. So I lead up the operations side. So they're basically supported by staff of two different unions, the SEIU, the service union, and the IUOE, the operating engineers. So the IUOE is mainly our maintenance staff, and then the SEIU is our service staff. So you're going to have your housekeeping group in there, which we call building services, and they do all the cleaning and event setup logistics for everyone on campus. Our ground staff, mailing and receiving, building operations employees as well. So, and they are kind of a, dually talented people who work in the Cooper Fieldhouse mainly. And then obviously there's an operations management group, and then our design and construction is another group of 5 or 6 managers who do larger capital style projects on campus.
Yeah, what would those kind of projects look like?
Oh, the larger capital ones? Building. I mean, you're renovating, like when we renovated this space or the School of Health Science building, we're in the process of planning for construction, groundbreaking probably late summer. And so it'd be, to that type of magnitude.
Yeah, perfect. And so exactly, this is just a question. We were kind of talking about how many square feet do you cover on like a day?
How about that? Me? I can't say, but we are, our campus is about 51 acres. It's building space about 3.5 million square feet. 46 buildings, I think. We used to have a different number, but I think there's 46 buildings, different buildings. So, technically all that space, but not every corner, every day kind of thing. But it's a vast area. It's like a small town inside of a large city. Because we own all our streets, so we manage this space almost in that same kind of fashion.
Yeah. And obviously Duquesne is a very beautiful campus. So kind of what are the processes in keeping it beautiful and maintaining it?
I'm lucky to have good staff to start and good support from the top of our division on down. I was also handed an excellent product when I started here in 1998, which is a while back. So yeah, and I can't say enough about the folks who go out and actually do the work on a day-to-day basis. It's from emptying trash or picking up sticks to planting the bulbs that are coming up outside and just even into landscape design and so forth. And then all the people who are just going around keeping all the areas clean. So whether you're inside or outside, you're maintaining that feeling throughout campus.
Yeah, perfect. And obviously what goes in keeping it clean also comes with the very rough winter that we just had. And so obviously we saw a lot more snow than Pittsburgh has seen in decades.
We did, yes.
So kind of how did the winter go for your staff, and what kind of things did they do to kind of prepare for this uneasy?
We're always preparing. So it wasn't, it was difficult because it was different, not necessarily it was difficult from a planning standpoint. It was different because we got the snow when we did, and then we had the cold weather that followed, so the snow never left. A lot of times in Pittsburgh, you'll get 4 inches, and then in 7 days it's gone again, and everything's kind of gray and brown. and the white stayed. So we had to, so the challenge was with this storm, knowing it wasn't going anywhere, was, and the temperatures were brutally cold. So we had it, as from facilities, we had a twofold issue in a sense. We had to keep clearing to making sure that pathways and streets and sidewalks and curb cuts and all those things kept widening out so we would never lose access in case a second storm came. Because if we didn't broaden, we could then lose ground if we got another storm of that magnitude or even half as much. Simultaneously, we have a group of maintenance guys doing freeze patrol. So these guys are working around the clock, checking mechanical space and going into all these areas and avenues to making sure our heat is there so we don't freeze a pipe, something you hear about at home, leave a faucet dripping, or make sure your windows aren't cracked open and things like that. So that also can be very impactful and have a lot of pressure to it, and it's very important even though nobody's seeing it. So so that was, I think, from that challenge, having both of the things going on simultaneously was more the challenge, but we really came through it unscathed. So I think kudos to the supervisory staff that put the plan together, the line staff who went out and did all the work, because they got it all done, and people went back and forth to class as they needed to without much issue or conflict.
Yeah, and everything you're kind of talking about, that is a lot of work and planning going into it.
Right.
What are kind of the hours that your staff does to make sure that these things happen almost like unknowingly and simultaneously with students and staff every day?
Well, like I said, we're a small town, so we're a 24/7, 365 operation. There's always people here from facilities. So we have folks around the clock, overnight, mainly maintenance people, general mechanics, and some cleaning staff. Just there's certain areas we can get in better at certain hours. Then a majority of our staff is that traditional Monday through Friday first shift, coming in, that folks are seeing regularly on a day-to-day basis. And then we have an active second shift as well, but there's never not folks here. And as supervisors, there's always, from the director of our department, our associate vice president and chief facilities officer on down, people are constantly on call just in case something were to happen and we need to come back and respond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's always people on campus. Does that include buildings like Lumina?
I can't specifically say how Lumen is staffed. I can't speak to their staffing levels. I mean, I know they manage their desks around the clock like our traditional resident halls, but I don't know the specific answer to who's here and when.
Yeah, so in that regards, with Duquesne owning kind of other residencies around campus, what is the relationship that you and your staff have with Lumina and their staff? Is there one?
No, there absolutely is one. I like to think ours, with our direct counterparts with Lumina is excellent. I mean, we work with them closely on any number of things. When for instance, we'll invite them into our meetings when we're planning our summer projects, so they know where we're going to be. And they do the same. Say they're going to put a new roof on one of the buildings that they own and operate. We're going to, they're going to share that information with us, so we're not overlapping or conflicting. We work with them, and something as simple as the wrong package gets delivered to a student living in St. Martin Hall, and it ends up at our Day Plus Mail Center. We work inside with them to, they either come down and get it, we deliver it up there, looking at student rosters or something like that. And also we're working side by side in something, large and pivotal like freshman move-in or upper class move-in, which they normally handle. But how does that pair in with our freshman move-in, and when do we, occupy each day of the week during late August?
Yeah.
So it's very, it's clear, and I speak well of those folks. Yeah.
Yeah, and so obviously, kind of with your experience, as you've talked about it, you've been here for a long time.
Yes, 28 years.
So what exactly keeps you here at Duquesne for 28 years?
I would say, from the start, there's a culture here. It's community and it's service. It didn't take long to figure it out once I got hired, and it's something that kind of just keeps you motivated and coming back and being happy. And it's not just me. If you look around, like we were just talking with Don in the back, and there's numerous people who I've worked my entire time with. My boss has been my boss for 28 years. He hired me around this time in 1998. My first hire is still here, and he works in the same, not the same position, but he's tracked right alongside. So it's not uncommon at all, and I just think it just adds to this kind of mystique that we all get to enjoy and appreciate. Yeah.
Yeah, and throughout your time here, kind of what has been some of the big projects that you've gone on or you've helped create while you've been here?
Well, not necessarily me creating. That would be more from a smaller landscaping type design, but I think the biggest change just in campus in general would be the transformation of Forbes Avenue. If you go back to the acquisition of property on the north block across from the parking garages where the power center now sits, the redoing of the previous Palumbo Center, which is now the Cooper Fieldhouse, and then going into the College of Medicine, McGinley Hall, and the School of Health Science building, which is in the process of being planned and built. That area is just so starkly different than what it was when I started. I think that's the most remarkable thing that I've been involved with, mostly adjacently, but involved at different levels here and there in the processes over the number of years. But it's also changed the outlook and how Duquesne's seen, I think, from the city. It's been very supportive and beneficial for our community partners here in Uptown. It's just transformed that area so significantly. It's hard to go back and think what it'll even look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And kind of this whole thing we've kept talking about how Duquesne looks and the differences it is, and exactly how important is it that the campus is safe, it's clean, it's aesthetically pleasing for students and the community? Why is it so important that this is done?
It's the right thing to do, and we're lucky enough to, like I said, just have the support around that people are engaged in it being and looking in that way. We talk about it as our big backyard, and so we can kind of go out there and make decisions and get the support and motivate our staff to approach it in that manner and just efforting to keep it nice. And whether it's pulling a weed or picking up a small piece of litter, it all adds, and there's reason, and everybody, it's a buy-in to. Again, I can't recognize my staff enough in certain situations like this, because they're the ones out there doing it and making it different and appreciating it and just getting it and just adding to the community and the mission, serving students in their educational endeavors when they're here. So I hope I answered that right.
Yeah.
No,
it's
kind of moved on a little bit, but it's kind of
the little things.
It's the little thing, and it's very themed, and it's out there. It's real. Yeah.
Yeah. No, everyone buys into it.
Yeah.
It is what makes the campus whole. And so, at your time here at Duquesne, we've really expanded. And so, what do you want the community to know about exactly what your team does?
I guess, again, it goes back to the mission support. It's the focus on the students first, getting done what we need to do. No one will ever see it in full, but just the behind-the-scenes effort that goes on every day to keep people comfortable and the space looking the way it does. I can't say enough about those folks who go out every day and make the effort and make a difference in the lives of young adults, with sometimes great fanfare, but sometimes very little and sometimes none. Yet they're showing up at these odd times, working odd hours on weekends, and these non-traditional times, and doing these things mostly behind the scenes, and are cheerful and just wonderful about it. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And back to you guys.
I am Anthony Sferus.
I am Morgan Carr, We hope to see you next Thursday.